Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. So ESPN put out an NFL list, which they're apt to do, and they ranked the NFL rosters for 2023 and kind of gave the strengths and weaknesses of every roster. It's not a very detailed assignment that they've put together here, but it does kind of shed some light on what they think about some of the teams across the league. So the first thing I do is, of course, look up where do they have the Saints in terms of a roster. And I imagined probably somewhere in the middle of the pack. I don't think the Saints are right there on the precipice of Super Bowl. I don't think they're a disaster. I assume they'd be somewhere in the middle of the pack, and they are at number 19. They got the Saints at 19. They say the strongest unit for the Saints is their defensive back group, which they say is the seventh best in the NFL. And I agree with that. I think that there's a lot of talent in the DB room. I think Marshawn Lattimore, when healthy, is excellent. I think Paulson Adebo is a solid pro. I think Alontae Taylor may really come into his own this year. Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu are solid at the back end. If Tyrann's lost a step here or there, I could argue that, but they're very solid in the back end. I think that's a really strong unit at defensive back. And I totally agree with the weakest unit. Now, I would, instead of calling it the weakest unit, call it my biggest question mark. I think it's potentially not weak, but I'm going to need to see it at defensive tackle. You lose David Onyemata, Shai Tuttle, Kentavious Street, okay, whatever. Those guys I thought were pretty mediocre last year, and I thought it was time for an overhaul there. But I can't tell you that I think Kalen Sanders and Nathan Shepard are stars, and I don't know what Brian Brzee is. Now, there are reasons why the Saints really like Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard, and they fit the profile of the Saints defensive linemen, and they've been solid pros. It's not like they haven't proven they can play in the NFL. They just haven't been every down stalwarts in the middle of a defense. The Saints are giving them that chance, and then you take an first round pick on Brian Brzee. It's a question for me. I think it was time for an overhaul there, but I can't tell you that I'm certain it's great. So I get that. They call Michael Thomas the X Factor, and I can probably get on board with that. And the non-starter to know, they say, is A.T. Perry, 6th-round pick, All-ACC the last 2 years. Led all Power 5 receivers with 131 receiving yards on go routes over the last 2 years. A.T. Perry, he can really go, if you'll pardon that bad pun. And so I don't have any problem with where they put the Saints there. If you want to argue they're closer to 12 than 19, okay. But it was a pretty mediocre team last year, and I think the middle of the pack is really bunched in the NFL. What I will also say about these rankings is that the Saints' schedule is obviously very, 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 very friendly. You look at the teams behind the Saints in this ranking. The Saints are at 19. Then you scroll back and you get to the division, which sits there at Carolina 25, Atlanta 26, and the Bucs 27. That's 6 of your games right there. Oh, by the way, you play the 28th team, Tennessee. You play the 29th team, Houston. You play the 30th team, Indianapolis. They're all in the AFC South, which you see. You play the 31st team, that's the Rams. Those are almost the bottom. The only team worse than those I just rattled off is Arizona. So there's a lot of things that make the Saints very interesting this year that we'll talk about all summer long, and certainly as we get into August. I think they're going to be an intriguing team because I think they're a little bit better than a lot of teams on their schedule, which means you can win a lot of games and means you can win the division. And that means we should have meaningful football in November and December. And if you want to sit there and say, well, they can't win the Super Bowl, like, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I don't think they're winning the Super Bowl. But I would like to watch a playoff game. And they're probably going to give you that this year, I think. I can see it falling apart, but I can see them also winning a lot of games because some of the teams on this schedule stink. So that's ESPN's kind of brief look at NFL rosters. I'll get far deeper into listing season as we get into July, which is big-time list season. And then August is kind of talking season with your press conferences and practice reports. But hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.